The Kabbalist is controlling the most elementary forces of creation. With God's approval, since the Sephirot are the means with which God communicates with his creation. The play on words that the Sefer Yetzirah has is Sefer, which is a book, Sifra, which is number, and Sipur, that is the story that brings them together. So this brings us letters, numbers, and the story they produce, which is the creation, the story of God, the poem of God. There are 10 special Sephirot in the Kabbalistic tree of life. They are basically imponderable, Beli Ma, which when rendered without reality, as Kohler and Ginsburg do, they're only abstractions that express relationships. It is the 22 Sephirot of the Hebrew alphabet which produce the material world. How? The basic idea is that letters form words, the words form sentences, and it is by the word that God created everything. What the Sephirot convey is knowledge. It has the connotation of joining an intercourse, bridging the gap between the heavens and the earth. Then on page 544 he says, Galileo got it right when he declares that the greatest and most inspired of all the inventions ever known to mankind was the alphabet, and that mathematical principles are the alphabet in which God wrote the world. So the Sefer Yetzirah teaches that without words and letters, the universe would cease to exist. Every existing thing somehow contains these linguistic elements and exists by their power. By the power of the Word of God is how the Scriptures put it, isn't it? Can't creation be done in silence? Who started this language business? If it is the mystery of the Word. The Sefer Yetzirah has much to say about the 7 gates. Now the 7 gates, of course, are the sensory passages through which all impressions enter our minds. Our nose, our eyes, our mouth, and our ears. These are the 7 gates. The only way that these can be shared between individuals is through a single projector, the mouth. This doctrine meets us in the Memphite theology of ancient Egypt, which explains that every word of God came into being through what the heart devised and the tongue commanded. The doctrine receives strong emphasis in the Pearl of Great Price, for my works are without end, and also my words. And there is no end to my works, neither to my words. That's Moses 1:4 and then 38. The purpose of the work is to share the glory, of course. For behold, this is my work and my glory. That is, to share his work and his glory with man. Moses 1:39. The Sephirot, we are told, are the means through which God communicates with his creation. They are also the means by which man communicates with God. And it is through the spoken word. And that's what I want to elaborate with you more on in the various Kabbalistic texts, as well as I want to elaborate a little bit from the Hebrew Genesis to show you how absolutely interesting Nibley's analysis is. I love how he pulls it in with Pearl of Great Price. And then I'm going to show you a very powerful parallel with Freemasonry. Now that I'm a master Mason, the parallel just came roaring out at me. It was spectacular when I discovered a new article just published this month. Now, in the main Kabbalistic text, Nibley focused mostly on the Sefer Yetzirah in his book, One Eternal Round. He has discussed various different themes in the Zohar in his book, The Message of the Joseph Smith Papyri, which we've all prominently ignored. I have 2 different editions of the Zohar that I'm going to read from. The Kabbalah Center in California published their Aramaic and English Zohar in 23 volumes that I have, and then I'll read from Daniel Matt's translation and give some ideas there. The rabbis are together and they're talking. They say, "Come and see the Holy One, blessed be He, created the world using the Torah. Now the Torah is the first 5 books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. He created the world using the Torah. And this has been explained in the verse, "Then I was by him as a nursling, and I was daily all his delight." That's in Proverbs 8:30. This applies to the Torah, with which the Holy One, blessed be He, amused himself for 2,000 years before the creation of the world. Now that's Rabbi Oshlog's commentary on this part of the Zohar. The theme is God already had the Torah, and he was contemplating it for 2,000 years. And then he began to create. He looked at the Torah once, twice, thrice. The 4th time, he addressed them. Eventually, he used the Torah to teach people how not to be misled and how to understand it. As it is written, "Then he saw and declared it. He established it. He searched it out, and he said to man." So according to these 4 steps, expressed as "then he saw it, he declared it, he established it, and he searched it out," the Holy One created what he had created. And he did not accomplish his mission until he brought forth 4 words. And those 4 words that God brought out was, "Bereshit bara Elohim et." It stops at the Hebrew et. And then the heavens are mentioned. This is reflective of the 4 worlds of the Kabbalah also, I do believe. In Daniel Matt's translation, he gives a little bit more interesting elaboration in the footnotes, but let me read the text. This is in the Hakdamat Sefer HaZohar, page 29 in Matt. This is volume 1 of the Zohar. "Come and see, with Torah the Blessed Holy One created the world. This has been established as is written, I was with him as a nursling. I was a daily delight." This is Proverbs 8:30. "He gazed upon her once, twice, 3, and then 4 times. Then spoke, creating through her." God's first creative act was speaking the creation. This is so interesting. "He saw and declared her. He arranged her and probed her. Before generating his work, he introduced 4 words. Bereshit bara Elohim et. In the beginning, God created. First, these 4 words, and then the word ha-shamayim, the heavens. Now he says in the footnote, according to M. Avot, one of the Jewish works, Torah is the precious instrument by which the world was created. Now the Bereshit Rabbah reads, Rabbi Oshaya opened, I was with him as Ammon, which means a nursling. He's showing the play on words here. I was with him as Ammon, a nursling. But Ammon, just the mere change of a mere letter, gives us an artisan. So what the Torah, which is personalized in this passage, is saying is, the Torah is saying, I was with God in the beginning, and I was the artistic tool of the Blessed Holy One. The Blessed Holy One gazed into Torah and created the world. Isn't that interesting? He created it through the Word. Then spoke. Only after perusing Torah did God proclaim her words, thereby creating the world. I thought that was really beautiful. God created by speaking, according to the Zohar. This is Rabbi Michael L. Monk, The Wisdom in the Hebrew Alphabet. This is by Masorah Press, Masorah Publications. The 13th impression is September 2003. It's really quite popular. This is in the chapter An Overview, the Protoplasm of Creation. Kind of an interesting description. On page 17, here's what Rabbi Monk says. In teaching us that the universe was created with 10 godly utterances, Avos 5, verse 1. The sages have given us an insight into the process of creation. Now, Maharal explains that the term